Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I finally got my hands on the new Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette. I know I'm literally the last person to review this one. I was expecting it to be in stores when I went to Sephora on Friday. That's what I was told, but then when I got there the next day, they're like, oh, we can't release it till the 8th, and I'm like, ugh. So then I had to order it. I don't know how people got it so fast, like overnight. Mine did not get here till yesterday, which was Tuesday. So even though I'm late in YouTube terms, I'm still going to talk about this palette because you guys know how much I am obsessed with the first one. It is literally my favorite palette of all palettes in my collections. I've raved about it so much. So obviously I'm still gonna go ahead and do a video on the new one, and hopefully I can bring some new info to the table. Or if you haven't watched any reviews yet, this is perfect. So let's go ahead and get started. So Patrick Ta has released the new Major Dimension 2 Rose palette. This is available on Patrick Ta's website and also Sephora. If you guys are VIB or VIB Rouge, you can shop the savings event right now to save either 20% to 15% off your orders. So it's a great time to try this palette out, or even the first one. Let me go ahead and show you the first one too. We have the original and we have the new. There is a slight change in packaging. You'll have to excuse how messy my palettes are. They are well used and well loved. But yes, we have the original and the new. The new one has this little like border around it that this one does not have. It does look very pretty, so you can at least tell them apart, which is nice. This does retail for $68 as well as the original, so it is more of that higher end kind of luxe price point, similar to, I would say, like Natasha Denona, Tom Ford, Dior, that kind of price range here. And let me tell you, I think it is worth it just because of how much I love these eyeshadows. So let's go ahead and get into the palette here. I'm gonna open it up so you guys can see inside. I did take a little video before I went in so you could see it brand new, untouched, but this is the layout here. So it is a rose toned, I guess you would call this a neutral eyeshadow palette. And you do get, again, 2 cream shadows, which have a little cover here, which is really nice, so they stay nice and clean, they don't dry out. And then your top row is gonna be shimmers, your bottom row is gonna be mattes. I love the layout of this, and it's totally different than the first one. Let me show you. On top we have original, on the bottom we have new, and they are so different. I'm not even gonna swatch them next to each other because I just get completely different looks with these. This one is definitely very rosy pinky tone, and it actually has a lot of depth to it, which is nice. This one is just your true all-around neutral eyeshadow palette, so great for every day. This is the palette that I fell in love with, the Patrick Ta formula, even the cream shadows. It is so beautiful. I am gonna go ahead and insert the swatches for you of this one so you guys can see what they look like. I will tell you, this is not just your average neutral eyeshadow palette. It may seem like it, you may seem like you have this over and over in your collection, but there is truly something so special about the Patrick Ta eyeshadow formula. Their shimmers have gorgeous glitter to them. So when I was even trying towards the end of my video to compare with other palettes in my collection, there really was no comparison because a lot of my metallics don't have that glittery tone that these do. They just glisten on the eyes with zero fallout. The shimmers are ultra creamy to the touch. They almost feel wet, and I usually just apply it with my fingers and smooth them on the eyelid. I do use the cream shadows as well as a base. They blend out so nice. You can use them all over the eye too if you're in a rush, just want to do a cream shadow look for the day. And I just layer my mattes right on top. There's no skipping or anything with the formula. And then the matte formula is just very buttery soft. So I cannot sing the quality enough praises. This is why it's my #1 palette choice. So that is the swatches for you. So you can see the whole color story. There is some gorgeous tones in here. Some just have like really fun, almost duochrome glitter. Lots of multi-dimension going on in here. So that's a look at the new Major Dimension 2. I'm going to go ahead and show how I did this look. I only did one look for today just because I am very familiar with the formula already, but I'm sure there is tons of other looks you could do with this one, and I'll definitely be sharing some more in future videos. I definitely want to wear it again when I do my second Sephora haul. So let's go ahead and get into this look. Alright guys, we are going to jump straight in. I am so excited to be playing with this today. And I am going to go ahead and start with the cream here in the crease. This kind of rosy tone one. Ooh, that's super pigmented. Honestly, was not expecting it to be that much. I'm going to tap a little bit off on my hand and then we'll blend it out. But these creams that are in the Patrick Ta palette blend flawlessly. I like to set mine down as like a base color and then apply the matte on top. And I never get any creasing or anything like that. As it is blending out, it's definitely shearing out the color, so it's not so crazy looking. So that's like my base. Now I'm gonna go ahead and, since that's kind of a rosy tone, let's take this color. I don't want it to be too dark. This is Amore. And it blends out super easily even over that cream. It doesn't seem to stick or grab at all, which is typical for this formula. And then we'll deepen that up just a tad with this color. This is Devotion. I'm just taking a tiny bit since these shades are super bright. Definitely giving the rosy tones, that is for sure. I'm gonna go into this darker cream and going to pack this in my outer corner, and I'm just using a Rougher 15 brush for all of this. So again, using that as a base here. Beautiful. And then same brush again, I'm gonna dip into the dark matte called Heartache. So we've used almost all the matte colors, not quite. And for lower lash line, we'll dip into this matte, which is Passion. So personally, I like to use Patrick Ta's shimmers with my finger. Let's see, we have some really fun shades going on here. I am going to dip into this rose tone shimmer. This one is called Romance, and they do have kind of a creamy, glittery feel to them. But look how pretty it is. It's like pure shimmery sparkle, but there's no fallout. That's like the awesome thing about these. So kind of starting with that, and then I do want to dip in to this kind of duochrome almost. It has a shift to it. It's like a pink green shift. It's called Lust, and we'll put that over top. Oh, that one's actually even darker. So maybe I won't do that. Let me just actually apply that over top of the other rose tone we used. There's not really a good, I'd say, inner corner shade in this palette, but we can use one of the matte pinks to brighten up a little bit. And I'm gonna go in with this matte just in the inner corner, this light nude, just to kind of brighten that space. It's more peachy once you actually get it on the eye. But yeah, it would have been nice to have like a little bit of a brighter inner corner color. Alright, here is the finished look. Just wanted to do a close-up of the eyes here. Obsessed. Now we'll get into my final thoughts. Okay guys, for my final thoughts here, and I want to do some comparisons. Of course, like I mentioned in the beginning, I think it is the same gorgeous quality as the original. Now I will tell you one thing though. With the original palette, my like glittery shades have dried out a bit as I've had this over time. I wish that they could stay like really creamy soft as they are when you first buy it, but the more you use it, the more I'm kind of dipping my fingers in, I'm getting like my oils from my skin onto these. If you're wetting your brush and dipping in, it's gonna develop a little bit of hard pan. So I just continue to use my fingers with this. I just really make sure I smudge it in there to get the pigment and then just swipe on the eye and it still works just as good. But I will tell you that just from my experience, my metallics have dried out a little bit over time. as I've been using the palette, but I still absolutely love it and reach for it all the time, as you guys know. So I have a feeling that will happen with this one as well. They do feel really creamy at first, but I could see them maybe kind of losing that over time, but still getting that gorgeous glitter. I will tell you though, my creams have not dried out whatsoever, which this little case definitely helps that. So I'm assuming that's going to be the same thing with this. We'll see over time how that goes, but overall I'm really impressed with the palette. The shimmers are just stunning in here, and it's actually a lot darker than I thought, and I actually would almost consider this a colorful palette. It's very rosy, very pink, so I'm getting like a lot of depth, a lot of color from this one. There's not a lot of like lighter toned lid shades as you are seeing in the original. If I was gonna pick one or the other, I feel like that's a really hard decision, but I still feel like I might reach for my original a bit more just because it has those lighter tones, but I think these could be nice to play with together as well. I wanted to do some comparisons for you in my collection. Surprisingly enough, I did not find any like dupe for dupe like palettes. Of course you're not going to get the exact color scheme because it does have these creams, so it is unique in the palette. Hardly any other palettes like or brands do that, so it's something unique to the Patrick Ta brand. I would say my closest palette in my collection is the Huda Beauty Naughty Nudes. I feel like this one can dupe so many palettes. It's such a good essential palette to have in your collection. I just felt like these two, you could definitely get similar tones, but the metallics are gorgeous in here, but the Patrick Ta just has a little bit more dimension, a little bit more glitter, and the mattes are just a smidge easier to work with, but it is a very similar color scheme, as you guys could see from them swatched side by side. Here they are held up next to each other as well, so definitely a similar color scheme to the Huda Naughty Nudes. Another one that was a little similar too is the Too Faced Born This Way Sunset Stripped, which is funny because the original Born This Way palette is a really good dupe for the original Patrick Ta Dimension palette, and this one's a little closer to the new one. So here they are next to each other. Definitely prefer Patrick's formula over Too Faced by a million, but they do give off similar color stories if you guys do already own the Too Faced and you don't want like repeat shadows or anything like that. But it's definitely missing some as well. You're not getting that multi-dimensional glitter, and I feel like the Too Faced has a little bit lighter tones for shimmers as well. And the mattes match up pretty good, but the Patrick Ta is a little bit more rosy than the Too Faced mattes. I also thought it would be a little similar to the Natasha Denona Retro, but I feel like the Retro is even more lighter pink than the Patrick Ta. The Patrick Ta goes deeper, in my opinion. Let me show you these side by side. Here they are. But you guys know I love Natasha's formula. I would say that's probably the closest formula to Patrick's, but the shimmers are more metallic in Natasha's, while Patrick's have more multi-dimensional glitter. But I did swatch these side by side as well to kind of compare, but they were not spot on. The Patrick has a little bit more kind of almost reddish oranges in there, and Natasha has some more lighter rosy pinks. One that I thought would be more similar than it is actually my Anastasia Soft Glam palette. So I did put that one on top, but those ones I really couldn't find enough close swatches, so I didn't really bother sharing. There was only like a few that matched up. I didn't feel like those were too similar personally. So those are a few comparisons in my collection. There's probably some more I could do, but I just really feel like Patrick Ta's formula stands on its own. I do think if you guys have not tried these yet, I would definitely put it on your wish list for sure to pick up either now during the sale or for the future. It's so beautiful in this new one. I love having, even if you do have the original, they're totally different color schemes, but I would recommend either of these palettes. You guys know how much I love and use the first one. I've talked its praises since it came out on day one. I've been using my palette before the hype, I shall say. So anyways, that's kind of it for this little review. I'm super impressed with the palette, of course. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know if this is on your wish list, if you will be picking this one up. I'll have it linked down below. I think it is still in stock, but I could see it selling out soon, and Patrick Ta takes a long time to restock, so you might want to grab it. I think the original already sold out on Sephora, so I'll see if I can link that one maybe on Patrick's site. I was in the Patrick Ta affiliate program, but I guess it doesn't work anymore. I don't know what's up with that. Still love them though. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.